What's up you guys, this is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and tonight if the train is a-rockin', feel free to come a-knockin' because it's about time we fanboy over the new releases in update 17.5. Now, keep in mind that these are going to be first impressions and I will be releasing in-depth reviews as the week continues. Right now we're going to be focusing on the new Warframe, new weapons, and some of the new cosmetics. There is just too much to cover in one video, so I'll take a look at some of the more miscellaneous stuff as we blaze through the content. Regardless, let's get started. So first and foremost is the Convectrix. It's basically a slash-based continuous fire shotgun. If you use your primary trigger, the beams will converge and focus on your target. If you use your secondary, the beams will start in the middle and flare outwards. Basically, it's like your scissoring, but with lasers. Damage-wise, it's outclassed by the Phaedra, however it does have a higher status chance and magazine. This one's blueprint is available in the Corpus Labs in your clan dojo. Next on the list is the ever so sexy Sonicor. While this does have a limited range of about 25 meters, it deals damage in an area of effect, knocking down enemies towards the outer range of the AoE, and ragdolling those it comes in direct contact with. Now while this is a super cool weapon, its base damage is quite low and limited solely to impact. Aside from that, its supplemental stats aren't all that great and it does have a long reload time. However, don't let that stop you because it's fucking fun as hell. And you can find its blueprint in the market. Speaking of fun as hell, we've got the Tekko, the new slash-based fist weapons. I think all I have to say about these is 30% crit chance. Yep, this is easily on par with the Ankyros Prime and looks sexy as fuck. Look at the lacy filigree thingies! Now, you can live out your twisted fantasies of being the Shredder. Seriously though, that man had biceps. Regardless, this blueprint is in the market as well. Moving on, we've got the Phaedra. It's described as the Archwing's answer to the Soma. And while it's gorgeous as fuck, don't be fooled, this is not a crit weapon. It's got wind-up time like the Soma, a pretty speedy fire rate, and a good amount of status. This is comparable to the Imperator Vandal, and my rough calculations suggest that it may actually outdamage it. So for those of you who just want some simple weapons for Archwing, this is definitely gonna be the one for you. Pick this one's blueprint up in the market. Now, as for the ridiculously sick-looking scythe, the Kaszas are fairly simple. They're just heavy hitters with a lot of puncture damage. While they may not match up to the critical majesty of the Centaur, this is definitely not one you're gonna want to pass up, as its damage is a bit more consistent and works quite well against heavily armored targets. Guess what? You can also find this blueprint in the market. Now on to what I'm sure you've been waiting for, the new Atlas Warframe. Personally, I think he looks fantastic. I wasn't too sure about the spikes on his heels and forearms before, but they are starting to grow on me. Super disappointed that they don't have an alternate helmet for him though. Stats wise, he is a very close mirror to Excalibur, however he is slightly slower but does have a bit more power. His passive is awesome as he cannot be knocked down while his feet are touching the ground. As for his abilities, Landslide, the dashing punch whose damage ramps up with repeated use, is ridiculous. It's one of the first few abilities that impressed the shit out of me. Honestly, I think this is possibly one of his best. Tectonics basically creates an electric shield-like barrier with snow globe health. Once deactivated, the barrier turns into a rolling boulder that sweeps enemies away in its path and explodes once it reaches its max distance. This is pretty cool as it can actually deal 2 instances of damage, the first when colliding with an enemy and the second when exploding. However, keep in mind that the direction it goes is a bit hard to maneuver. Now moving on to Petrify, this one is awesome for CC. While toggled on, it staggers enemies in a cone and slowly turns them to stone, where they'll be held powerless for 20 seconds. Not much more to say about this one other than it is super useful. Lastly is Rumblers. Now, first impressions, they're alright. They deal a good amount of damage but you have no control over them, and as it stands, I can't really tell if they draw any aggro. However, you can detonate them early to do AoE damage. Now, while I haven't done it yet, I'm gonna assume that he's going to be available through the Cephalon Jordis quest that should be in your codex. Now for some fun. There is a new Mantis lander that you can pick up in the equipment section of the market. The blueprint is also available, but fuck if I know where the components drop because I just bought that shit, including the Gloam skin which I am currently using. After you've crafted the Landing Craft Foundry segment, whose blueprints are available in the Tenno Lab of your dojo, you can call in for air support, and the Mantis will drop a healing pod for you and your team. Now, since we've touched on customizations, the freaking Valkyr Gersemi skin is in and only available for the 12 days after the release of this video, so if you like it, then definitely pick it up. In general, I think it's gorgeous, but the ball gag mouth thing still kind of freaks me out. Now in addition, there are 2 new back pieces to show off. First is the Igaro Syndana, which looks kind of florally and kind of bug-like at the same time. It's very pretty and the energy detailing on it is fantastic. However, it does suffer from some clipping issues. And last but definitely not least is the Opulus Credit Robe. What the fuck? Well, I personally wouldn't wear it. This thing is awesome as fuck. The PBR is gorgeous, and if you like being a bit over the top, this one is for you. Anyway, that is all that I've got time for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of fanboying, but in my case, I've got a date with a shit ton of form-up. So be sure to check out those patch notes because there's a lot of quality of life changes that happen, including alterations to Valkyr's skill set and Mace's Peacemaker. So read up for now and I will get to those as soon as I possibly can. Alright, you guys take care and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!